right, chapter 22, not staying motivated. Quick tips to conquer the biggest challenge in selling. Ali, you mentioned that you read the book, right? The chapter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Let's start off with you. What'd you like?
I like the 252 on long hours.
Okay.
I liked the third paragraph, where he says, it's all in your head, man, everything. You decide what you do or don't do, but decide. You can literally change time if you allow yourself to wake up and smell, quote unquote, coffee of your dreams. So I like that part just because, it's true, like you can literally, like for me, I can decide if I want to follow up or if I don't want to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
But I better follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's a good feeling to know that the decision is yours. I think a lot of times in different jobs or different situations people are in, people feel like they don't have control. People just feel like, oh, it's just the way it is. Like, no matter if I work hard, it's going to be the same thing. If I, do this or if I do that, it's just not going to make a difference. Well, I think that the beauty of sales is that you have control. If you want to do better, then you can. You can make more money. So that's one thing that I've always appreciated about sales is that it just gave me more control. And this chapter also talks about a little bit, is that who better than yourself? Like, no one's going to care about your life as much as you. So once you decide that you really want to take it seriously, that you have control to make your finances better, is the beauty of it. So yeah, I owe a lot of where I am right now to sales. So it's something that I just really wanted to share with you guys, that sales is great. It has helped my life a lot. It has taught me a lot. But the first decision is to decide that you really want to get serious in it. So that's a really good part of the chapter, Ali. Thank you. All right. Okay, Laura, what do you have?
So I like one of them is on page 246.
Okay.
Where it says, the last sentence of that paragraph says, my motivation comes from my intention on the future.
Oh, wait, hold on, sorry. 246?
246?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it says, my motivation comes from my intention on the future, not from something done in the past. And then going to 251, where it says, your financial success is best trusted to the one person who has the most direct control over it, and that person is you. That is true. That is true security.
Oh yeah, that's like the part I was just talking about.
Yeah, that's why you ruined my part.
Yeah, no, that part stood out to me too.
Yeah, so I like that.
Let's start with the first one. Motivation comes from attention on the future, not from something in the past. What did you like that one?
I just like, it's kind of like yesterday was the past, today is like a new day, and then tomorrow's just like, we'll hope something different. So it's kind of like just moving forward from past situation, whether it's failures or even achievements, there's something more to look forward to.
Yeah. That's a key point that you said. I think a lot of times people dwell on the past a little bit, like we talked about in the last motivation video, but sometimes people also kind of get too ahead of themselves with achievements too. Yeah. Because I did really good, but both things are in the past. The bad and the good are in the past. And moving on to the forward is a good example, Laura. So thanks for giving us an insight on that. Because a lot of us are trying to get to a point where we could feel proud of ourselves, but there's a point where you feel too proud of yourself and you start slacking off too. So that's one thing that you haven't gotten to, which is remarkable. And what about the second part?
Your financial success is best trusted to one person. So basically, like what you said, like you have control over yourself and how much you want to succeed. So, like if you want to succeed, you're gonna succeed. If you don't, then you're not. Right.
Yeah. So back to Alice's point, making that decision. This whole commission only, no security, I think that was a good one. Not everybody's in that situation here, but sometimes people think the more security, the safer, but it's actually the exact opposite. Exactly what the society teaches us to do is actually the most, it's the safest way to be average.
It's a risk
Yeah.
too. So it's like a risk,
there's a risk in that too.
To have somebody control your money.
Yeah. It's crazy how people are just like, oh yeah, 401k, it's like the best thing. It's like you're just basically giving them your money and say, hey, you can have it till you're 65. I don't do any of that because it's just like, why would I want to give you all my money? And then there's some sort of a promise. If I take it out before I'm 65, there's a penalty. And there's just a lot of things. Even buying a house sometimes, like you're giving the money, the bank the money, and getting a loan. There's a lot of maybe I'm a contrarian, but there's a lot of, like, with even education too. There's a lot of things that society teaches us that's actually best for society and not really for that actual individual person. So to decide, to take control, those are more important things than to just let everybody just decide what you're going to do. And just the norm is not usually the best, because the norm is sometimes the best way to be average or below average. Like if everyone's doing the same thing, then you're going to be like everybody else. And that's not really what I believe in. Like I want us to be separate. I want us to be better than the norm. So sometimes we have to look at what everyone else is doing and be like, oh, I'll do the opposite. Sometimes it's that easy. All right. Okay, Blanca, what do you have? You ready?
On page 248, lack of consistency.
Okay.
So I like how he starts explaining, what discipline is. I like the sentence where it says, discipline is part and parcel of our everyday lives. It means you have exerted some control over random elements and made something of them. And then I want to go ahead and jump down to the second paragraph where it says, your fears are like weeds in a garden which grow out of control. If you lack the discipline to contain them, there are an infinite number of things that you must do every day. And when you do them, an incredible blooming occurs of your success and income. So it's like the same thing with sales, like for example, and he explains that in the first sentence, like you control like how you're doing the phone calls, like how you reach out to like clients and stuff. If you keep doing the things that work for you, then you're just gonna stay consistent and grow.
Yeah, that's a good example, huh?
Yeah.
What are some things that requires discipline at this job?
Well, showing up to work, being on time.
Yeah. At the most basic level, right?
Building your pipeline.
Uh-huh.
Because if you don't sell them today, you'll get to them.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any like situations where you feel like discipline has paid off for you?
You have to be disciplined in this job.
Yeah. Like those are the examples, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What about everybody else? Discipline paying off?
Okay.
What's like the hardest part for you guys, you think? Besides showing up on time and being here every day. No, because Blanca just said that.
Going straight.
It's the hardest part.
Yeah. Of being disciplined.
I think just not letting like a bad situation take control of your full day.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good one. I could probably. So you're speaking to me right now.
Okay. Move on, then, move on.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good one. No, it's good to be honest with ourselves, but I could be honest with myself too. Sometimes like, just 100 things going on, that like 99 things are going good and one thing's going bad, and that could like just like throw me off the wrong way. So I had to stay disciplined and like, all right, I gotta make sure.
Even like in the morning, like I have a long drive, and I have like the worst traffic, and I have low tires, so I had to put air.
Oh yeah,
so
I had to do that the other day
Oh
too.
my God, I was also like pissed in the morning, like, like kind of like coming in here with like a fresh mentality, like
Right.
I'm not gonna let that bad morning affect my whole day.
Yeah, I think that's a great example of discipline. I think that's something that I could really get better at, but emotional discipline. Like just sometimes, when people lose their cool, that's a lack of discipline. Or sometimes when you get frustrated and make bad decisions, that's a lack of discipline too. I mean, so that requires discipline there, to just controlling your emotions where you're in a good mood all the time, because that's what it requires to be good at, customer service and sales. That's what you need, is to be in a good mood, So that's discipline of being able to control your emotions and being happy no matter what the situation is, even if you get a speeding ticket. It's with this life, you could just, a lot of things could just throw you off and just like, you could go a wrong direction really fast. So having the right, the mindset and being positive is a must. So, yeah. All right, so yeah, we all got work to do. We got to pay off our tickets. All right, who wants to go next? Okay, Chang.
Mine is page 245.
Okay.
The last sentence is, number one way for me to stay motivated is to stay busy, moving quickly from one activity to the next without a lot of time in between. And I like that part because I feel like if you kind of keep yourself busy, you don't have time to like kind of, if you make a mistake or something, like you don't have time to like kind of back and like,
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep yourself busy, you're just gonna keep moving forward.
Mhm.
It's gonna make yourself better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I really like that one. I think, Laura, this was the one that you said last week, right? I remember that because I think that's so true. You know, sometimes I think like at work is sometimes people look at it like, oh, it's like a hassle. It's like I don't like working. It's like, to me, it's like a blessing. You know, I'm like so thankful that I have a work that could help me stay busy because those negative things when I get a bad ticket or something like that, if I didn't have work or if I had a boring job or if I wasn't motivated, then I would just like go crazy, going negative. Yeah, so I'm like, thank God I have 100 things to do because like I don't have time to worry about things. So by staying busy, it's a great way to stay motivated. And when you're not busy, that's when it just goes the wrong direction. So if you guys have more things to do, I would recommend you guys saying, hey, you know, and you guys have done it in the past where it's like, hey, I could do more. You know, I could do more. Like, give me more because it just makes your life so much more productive. You're getting more done, and when you get more done, your income helps. It's just staying busy is the key. Like, how do you stay motivated? It's just the simplest answer. Stay busy. Thank you, Ichi. I'm really glad that someone said that part. All right, let's go next. All right, Jay, what you got?
Page 246.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third paragraph,
Okay.
where it starts off. The other thing with staying motivated is you need to stay away from bad news and doomsayers. Their goal is to drive you down and make sense of where they live and the choice they have made. They will only leave you feeling like more of a failure, more hopeless, and more apathetic about taking any more action towards your goal. I really like this part because it just tells you to stay motivated no matter bad like haters pretty much try to bring you down.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any examples of that at this early age?
Yes. I don't know, like maybe friends telling you like you were pretty much. I was like friends like having like a whole different mindset compared to yours. Like saying you want to do better and then just them being like a whole different level of pretty much like fighting stage or just not wanting to do anything better for themselves.
There you go. Yeah, it's so important to who you listen to. You know, so stay motivated, stay away from the bad news, doomsayers. Those are pretty extreme people. You know, they're like really all negative and stuff like that. But there's also just levels to how negative someone is. So someone's like not that like negative, but still kind of negative about, you know, or not hardworking. So at an early age, I would just say like it's so important to like listen to only a few people. You know, there's so much information out there, or so much people who are actually trying to give you advice, thinking that it's actually best for you. You know, less risky. Sometimes they're not. They actually do like care for you, but then what they're telling you is not good advice. You know, so the way I've really looked at it is like I really only try to like pay attention to only like a few people. And some people like I don't even know I'm listening to them because I'm just watching them on YouTube. But it's just who you really pay really close attention to, and then once you hear bad things that are said, negative things, it's really easier for you to understand that like, oh, I shouldn't pay attention to this person. I really shouldn't take this advice seriously, because if you took advice from everybody, you wouldn't know what to do. You'd be all over the place. So should I be happy? Should I be mad? Should I work hard? Should I not work hard? You know, so you really want to pick a few people that you really, really respect and really, really want to kind of be like, if you could find people like that and really find out how they think and really listen to them is really important, rather than just hanging out with a whole bunch of people and just like being influenced in like wrong ways. Yeah. So yeah, but staying positive is so important to staying motivated. So bad news and doomsayers, I think a lot of people like that. You know, when you watch the news a lot or you watch the media a lot, or sometimes people just are drawn into negative situations. And that's something that you really don't want to be in, because you want to feed your mind with positive things. They're both out there in the world. It's just up to us to decide which one you want to listen to more. Alrighty. Who else we have left here? Maria, okay.
Mine's on 247, losing business to others. It can be demoralizing to lose a deal to a competitor. You have two choices of action when this happens. You can blame something or someone else and be a victim, or two, you can learn from it and win the next one. So basically I like this one because it's true, like what he's saying, you can't be blaming others for your mistakes. You kind of just have to learn from them and move on from it. And maybe the next one you'll be able to learn what you did wrong and try something else to be able to like get this out or do something better.
Yeah, this one ties into a lot of things we also talked about. Do you guys have that sometimes when you get a sale you thought you're gonna get and didn't get, and kind of like bums you out a little bit for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone have any advice to how to kind of overcome that?
Just move on.
Just move on. Yeah. I think what Yuchan's line was good, like staying busy. Okay. If that was the only lead you had, then you're in trouble. You're like, dang it, I was counting on that one and some sales professionals are like that. Like I was counting on that one to make my whole month. Like now everything's changed because I couldn't get that deal. The good thing about our business is that in our situation, and my responsibility is to try to get that leads flow going. So if you don't get that one, so it's not devastating. It shouldn't be. We should be able to move on. We should be able to stay busy, like Yuchan said, and find something else to do right away, as fast as possible, instead of dwelling on that one. At the same time, we also don't want to, Maria, I really like this line here, because you want to kind of understand what you could have done better. And that's where accountability comes into play. And that's where a lot of people in sales, they struggle, is when they say, oh, it wasn't my fault. It was them. It was the price. It was, I don't know, people just love coming up with excuses, right? Whereas like, oh, wait, I shouldn't have said it like that. I should have listened to that part a little bit better. Wait, maybe I should have said this. So you really want to that's where growth comes in, where you actually look at yourself and you figure out what I could have done better instead of putting the blame on something else. With anything, it doesn't even have to be sales. Anything doesn't go your way, you could go 2 ways. You could say, it wasn't my fault, you could say, it's my fault. It wasn't my fault is easier because you don't have to do anything. But you never get better. When you say, everything is my fault, that was my fault, even if it wasn't, you're still going to think of ways to get better. Okay, so we don't get a sale, move on. At the same time, you want to move on, but you want to still think, okay, how could I get better? And that's why people who have experience, they tend to get better because they have a little bit more experience and they learn from it. Whereas some people, they just never get better because nothing is ever their fault. All right, cool. So yeah, good one. Thank you, thank you, Maria, for mentioning that one. No, that one. That's not the first time I call people by the wrong name. I called Leslie Joe. I was like, this is different as it gets. Well, besides where you guys sit. All right, anyone else we have left?
I guess it's me.
Okay, Martha.
Mine is page 246.
Okay.
Let's just take motivated. My motivation comes from my attention on the future, not from something done in the past. When I'm moving on the next thing, I don't have time to get stuck into focusing on what I went wrong. Instead, I concentrate on what I have to do next. So I like both of them because personally, I was always looking into the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, I don't know if it's bad or not, but I always thinking in what is next, like in the future.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to do, so what I want to be in the future,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to do it now.
Uh-huh.
And I also like stay motivating. Don't like if I did something wrong, I need to focus on what I need to do to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I stayed on, oh, I did it wrong, and I never thinking in what should I do to get it done or
Mhm.
get it well, then I'm gonna be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be in that situation.
Mhm.
I want to be.
What are some things that you feel like you need to do next right now?
Well, right now I have problem with my sleeping, and I have that my schedule. I'm always late, so I think I need to concentrate on that. But beside of that, I think I need to concentrate on myself.
Yourself?
Myself.
Oh, okay.
Myself. My
Mhm.
numbers.
Oh, okay. Well, you're always very focused on that, but thanks for sharing that. Yeah, we all have something, We all have something that we could get better at. And I think I'm very proud that you could say that publicly to people. Some people can't even say it to themselves, what they need to work on. They just have, maybe it's an ego thing, they just don't want to accept that they need to get better at something. But we all have something we could get better at, So for me, it could be sometimes emotional discipline. I have a lot of discipline in a lot of different areas, but sometimes it could be emotional discipline, not letting one bad thing affect my whole day and stuff like that, or one, So, thank you, Martha, for sharing that. You guys don't have to share anything publicly. You always don't have to, but put a little time in thinking like, hey, I could get better at this because trust me, we all could get better. All right. So, what about you guys? You guys have anything to share? Joe, Marisol?
Yeah.
Yeah?
251,
Okay.
that's the last sentence.
Okay.
Your financial success is best trusted to the one person who has the most direct control over it, and that person is you. That is true security.
Great. Yeah. No doubt that Martha's part. That actually Laura said that part too.
What part?
That one you did.
Oh, really?
And then Joe did this part too. But those are probably you guys are repeating the two most important lines. I feel like. So Joe, why'd you like that one?
Oh, well, I mean, it's you're in control of your own everything, so it's like you better have your own like discipline or whatever straight, because if you want to ruin your life, you're the only one that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
If you want to make it better, you're the only one that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, I really just really want you guys to really understand that, like how little control people think they have is crazy. Like people just really feel like it's just like there's nothing I can do. It's just it is what it is. People just live life like that. It's just so untrue. And then no one else is gonna take care of you better than yourself. Like who should have more interest in yourself than yourself? And some people actually expect other people to care about them. Like the government should do stuff for me. Like no, you should do something for yourself. Like people are expecting other people. The school system should do this, or that should be like that. Like that, people should be taking care of you. No one else is going to take care of yourself better than yourself, and that's like our own responsibility, just as a human being, to just look out for yourself. So yeah, we all have control of what we want to do, and I just really want you guys to understand that, because once you guys understand that, it just gives you more of excitement going through life. Like, hey, I could do better if I want to. You could I'm glad that I have control of my future. Like it's just such a better way to live than when people say, hey, if you didn't go to school, you're a certain minority or a certain gender, then that's what it is. It's like no, it's like you get to control what you want to do. All right, Marisol, what about you?
Mine's on page, I'm sure somebody already read this, but it's on
okay.
page 248. It's the lack of consistency in the paragraph, and it says, discipline is part and parcel of our everyday lives. It means you have exerted some control over random elements and made something of them. You would need to discipline an unruly garden to turn it into a thing of beauty. In the same way, you need to discipline yourself as a salesperson. I think I like this because it doesn't just apply to salespersons, it just applies to anything. Like you really do need to discipline yourself to accomplish anything. Like they say, it takes like 21 days to build a habit. So I think it's important to build a habit first, so that way you can stay disciplined. Yeah. Sometimes I hear that too. I think the habit takes a little bit longer. Yeah. To be honest with you guys, I think it takes about 90 days. Yeah. To become like a real discipline. The hard part about discipline that I have empathy for a lot of people is that sometimes, and then once you develop the habit, then it takes another long time for it to actually result in something. So the hardest thing about discipline is like, oh, this is so boring. I gotta do this over and over again. Sometimes it's boring parts of discipline too, being consistent. Sometimes you're doing the same thing over and over again. But where Blanca read too, that incredible blooming of her success and income, that just takes long times after that. So sometimes people are like, oh, I've been disciplined, things should happen. And it doesn't, then they lose the discipline. But having that long-term outlook, or the realistic outlook that it's going to take a long time for things to change, that's where really when you could focus on staying disciplined. Kind of like fitness, And people will do like 2 push-ups and be like, oh, nothing happened, this is not worth it. This is BS. When they go to the gym for one day.
You go to the gym for like, I don't see a change at all.
Yeah, or eating healthy.
That's like chips.
Get
Yeah.
up for a week, I don't see nothing. Okay, fuck it.
Yeah. This is the hardest part about discipline is that you gotta have to sticking with it, and that instant. Following through. And I think part of technology is like we leverage it to make more money, but the bad part of it is that we expected things to come a lot faster than the reality is. So having a realistic expectation of like, hey, I'm going to be disciplined, but for 2-3 years, things may not happen the way I want to. Even longer than that, you know, I mean, running a business, I got to look at like 10-year windows. Like, hey, it's going to take a long time for things to like really go to the next level. That's when you have the ability to stick through with it. But when your expectations don't match the reality, that's when people fall off their discipline routines. Yeah. So yeah, having patience and having the discipline, but staying busy. I think these are all things, all sales, all of us, you know. So I think you guys all remember when you guys were first new too. It's a little harder, you know, and that's why people start something and then they fall off and they start something else and they fall off. It's like they go through that routine of not being able to stick with something. So as long as you have the belief, and that's part of my job, is to let you guys understand that if you guys stick with it, things are going to happen. Okay, believe in yourself. You guys have control of how much effort you want to put into. The effort is going to determine how fast things are going to happen. Okay, it's still not going to be that fast, but some things will happen faster than others because of your effort. But yeah, just want you guys to stay positive and know that things are going to happen, and we're just going to keep training our minds and listen to the good people, right? And stay away from the negative people, and we're going to, continue to do better things for ourselves. All right? All righty. Thank you, ladies. Hey, thank you so much for watching my videos. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe, and then stay tuned for more future videos to help you grow your insurance agency. And also, comment below and let me know what you think. Until next time, thank you.